Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Buchanan Area Senior Center for this afternoon, our interview with friends. And this afternoon, I get to interview Diana Smuda, who is our programming director. She has been interviewing everybody else, board members and other patrons. So today I get to interview her, and I'm excited about doing that. We
Thank
get
you.
to learn more about Diana and the great work that she's doing here at the center. So we will just go ahead and get started.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
First of all, what interested you about the Buchanan Area Senior Center and why you wanted to be a part of this team?
A friend of mine, Sabine Wheatley, she is also a board member, and she's the secretary of the board. And she and I are very close friends, and we help empower each other. And I've been talking about, I worked at BASC BMW Mazda, loved the job, was very bored. And it was time, my kids were moving on, doing their things, becoming an empty nester, and it was time for me to actually do something. And I have been a program coordinator before in huge financial accounting firm, and that was way too much. But I did love programming. And so, she will ask me, what would you like to do? What do you want to do? I'm like, well, I really like this, but I want to, on a smaller level, I want to be more connected with the people that I'm working with and funded programs versus those accounting programs. And she just, got in touch with me when the program coordinator position became available. Jan, who was a program coordinator prior to me, she was retiring. And of course, this is during the pandemic, or just before the pandemic, actually. And, it was kind of scary. I haven't been out there working in this kind of field in a moment. And so it was really reaching down and, getting that courage back up. We talked about it. I put my resume in and received a telephone call. And so that's when the pandemic went in. So at this time, everybody's being quarantined. So Anna, our director, we did our first interview over Zoom, and that was not a good interview whatsoever. We kept losing each other. We didn't have a really good connection because we just weren't able to keep the flow of the conversation going. And so I had no idea what was going to happen, but I was very blessed. I came in with an interview with Jeannie, Adam. There was a third person.
Who else was there?
Yeah,
There was a
me,
third
me
person.
and Adam and Jan interviewed
No,
you.
because
she
she
wouldn't
wouldn't
have
have been there.
Well, it doesn't matter. But so when I walked in here and I saw this space, as you already know as patrons, I just like, wow. And I was looking at I remember looking at the volunteer pictures that we have on the wall and just feeling that space. I'm like, and we started talking. And then we had I felt, at least for me, I had a connection with everybody, and I began to get really excited. And that's when I knew, okay, I was really, really praying. And, and I'm so grateful, and that's how I got here. So really, how I got here is because I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to do programming. I knew in the way that I'm doing it. And just talking with friends and how it flowed. So I know I can say this. This makes me tear up because I'm so grateful. I know I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. And the reason I know that is because of people like you. The conversations we have, the hugs we give, just being there, and the programs that we're doing, like with the book club, Kay and I and the group in there, we have a really special, we have fun and we talk and we listen and we explore and we dig, and there's just more than just talking about the books. We talk about life and books and everything. So having that opportunity with everybody through the field trips, the art classes, having people come in and teaching us and giving us information, all of that, and building and growing, and just, the smiles, the laughter, the exercising. So,
Jan, I think that's who it was.
Oh, Jan, yes, thank
Yes.
you. Yes, so Jan.
Yes, and I had known Diana years ago,
Yes.
and so she came in for the interview, and I guess I didn't recognize her, but she remembered me right away. We used to work together at Clark's, so we just knew, Adam and Jan and I just knew she would be a good fit, for the senior center, so That's why she's here. So we're thankful and we're grateful because she's really doing an amazing job. And, you know, I know all you patrons, you know, like her. You know, I can see it when she comes up to you, you go up to her. So we're just thankful that, you know, we selected you, you know.
Thank you.
that
Yeah,
You're
it's
part,
definitely-
you're a part of our family, our BASC family.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. Yeah.
yes. Okay, how long have you been the program coordinator now at BASC?
Like I said, I came in through the pandemic in June of 2020, so a year and a few months. And it was,
It takes longer, doesn't it?
and it was nothing like it is now. But it was very challenging. And I remember us sitting there and talking about how can we do things differently, taking the exercise program outside, doing things virtually. This is part of the reason we do have conversations with friends. It began with Fireplace, just an opportunity for us to do something, to offer a program virtually. And it's probably, I can't say, it's one of my best, but I love all the programs. But yeah, so it was very challenging and, but I think we did okay. You know, we had some bumps in the road, but I think we are managing it. And right now, seeing the classes being full and people attending, and even sometimes after program, we'll sit around, we'll talk, you know, about the program or about, you know, so that's community.
Yeah,
You know, it's
absolutely.
all family.
Absolutely, yes, yes. And, you know, it's not a good thing that we had the pandemic, but it did allow us to do things differently, you know, to be creative and,
Yes.
you know, decide how we're gonna keep it going. And thanks to Adam, our director,
Yes, Adam was a
also,
huge
you know,
backbone.
he didn't walk out on us at that time. So, you know, we're just really grateful. And this, you know, interview with friends is really good. We've never had anything like this before, so our patrons get to know our board members. You know, a lot of times we have some board members, they just come, you know, to the meetings. They're not able to just be here during the day because they're still working. They have
Yes.
jobs,
Yes.
have careers. So this is really good that you all get to know who your board members are. You get to know more about your staff, so it was
Yeah.
really good. Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
great
thank you.
idea to
And
do
that
this.
it was kind of built on an idea from,
Yeah.
they had talked about in the past,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, very good, so. Okay, so now why do you like working at the center?
I think I just, yeah, it's really, truly, I love my work, you know, I mean, that is definitely, you have to be happy with the work that you're doing. I love the work that I do, I love making connections outside of Buchanan. So when I'm making arrangements to have somebody come in to present a program, or if we're gonna go on a field trip, or talking to someone about a craft class, I love that opportunity of talking and meeting people and then bringing that here and creating that. That's very important. I love that. I don't consider myself a creative person per se, like in crafts, but I do like the opportunity to empower and I
Right.
think those classes and give the opportunity for people to come here and do things.
Right, right.
And then all my people, my hugs.
Yeah.
My hug's
very
probably
good,
one of my
yes.
favorites. So if you want a hug, here I am.
Very good. Okay, now I have a question for you. How was your childhood? What did you do?
I had a fantastic childhood. My parents were, well, first of all, I lived over in Sawyer by Warren Dunes State Park. So we walked to the park, to Warren Dunes, and walked around the creek and all that kind of stuff. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. We had a pool, above-ground pool in the backyard, huge sand pit, dirt roads, rode our bicycles, had forts. I had like the best childhood. And then my parents were, I should say, professional archers. So that also gave us the opportunity to travel and to have friends and meet people from over the state as well as the country. So we would go to tournaments in the summertime. We would go to nationals. So that's where you met the camp. So you would meet all these other kids, and it was really fun. I shot archery for a short period of time till about 6th grade, and then I discovered boys, and I consider myself, I was kind of boy crazy at that time. So like, I don't want to do that. And I also developed what they call panic. It's like a panic where I would, before I even get the string and come up to anchor my string, I would release it. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to worry about that anymore, just let me go.
Yeah.
So, but it was good. We got to travel and
Good.
do all those
Yeah.
kind of things. And that probably instilled this wanderlust in me where I love to travel. As an adult, I have had the opportunity to travel to Hawaii. My mom it took me there with my sister. I had the opportunity to go to Beijing, China. My daughters were in competitive cheerleading, and Caitlin tried out, my oldest, and she was probably, oh my God, I'm thinking she's probably like 12 years old. She was pretty young, if not even that old maybe. And she tried out for a team and the team had to do with all the way, I think, from the whole Michigan, I think all the different competitive teams. And they competed to have the opportunity to go to the gymnastics school in Beijing and train. And she made the training. Both my girls were very good in their competitive cheerleading. And that was very interesting. I loved it. And I love the opportunity of seeing the city, because Beijing is very, it's New York, Chicago type
Right,
thing. And it was
right.
really fun. But also we had the opportunity when we went on bus trips to different areas. As our moms and dads, we would be able to go on tours where our kids were busy, learning new things and practicing. And to see, I remember seeing people living on the streets, with their tents, made out of tarps. And I remember thinking, we have this in the United States. You can go up in the country, you can go up in the UP, in Hawaii, I saw the same thing. You can go in the southern areas up by the mountains of people who live off the land. And I remember thinking, wow, that's everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the wanderlust is definitely in me, got to travel to many of the states. And recently, last year, I learned that I want to call it hiking, but it's a nice walking in the woods. I used to walk like the sidewalks and those kind of things, and I just didn't enjoy it. And then I knew I needed to do something, and when I decided, okay, let's see what they have. And I started to look for different places to walk. And I go to Madeline Park, I go to Low Creek, Sarah Nature Center, different places, and that's where I'm like, I feel at home.
Walking, yes.
On Mother Earth, with the trees around me, not other people walking, and it's like, this is where I belong.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. I walked up until last year. I would walk all the time.
Where did you walk at?
Mostly, I would start in my neighborhood and come out
Okay.
and go down Redbud and around and back up
Yeah.
and But walking, especially in the morning when things are so quiet, it's just like it's just you, it's nature, it's the birds, it's the trees. That's it. It's so quiet. Yeah. So I
good.
get that. Yeah. Well, maybe the center can go to some of those great places.
And we have a program, I call it Walk Day. We do it once a month, like around May-ish time, and maybe April, depending on the weather, into about September. And I'm going
Yes.
to propose in October here at McCoy Creek,
Oh,
something
okay.
close.
Oh, good.
We have walked at Notre Dame. We have walked the East Race. We have walked the Parkway from Tabor Hill and Round Barn and back.
Oh, okay.
And
Sarah, did you go there?
Fernwood.
Oh, Fern.
Fernwood, yeah.
Okay.
So yes.
Very good.
So, yeah.
I know
and
we have some walkers, that are here at the center, so I'm sure they enjoyed that.
Yeah, it is, it's beautiful.
Very good, very good. So, sounds like you had a great childhood.
I did,
You
I
have
had
great
the best.
memories.
I do,
Yes,
I
you
do.
do. Very good. Okay, in the newsletter, you mentioned you have a passion for empowerment. Tell us more about that and what that means to you and for you.
Yeah. Oh, wow, empowerment, that is very passionate for me. And that's part of the reason I get to do that here at the center, so that's part of I feel it's part of my purpose.
Yes.
And it's been 11 years ago, I had a job, during that time period where businesses were downsizing, and I had lost my position at the accounting firm. And my mother died 2 weeks later. So it's very kind of a crazy time, and going through some things. Probably about 8 months later, so I was just not happy. And I wasn't happy with me. I didn't like me. You know, I was at that point where it was something needed to shift, something needed to change. And I remember, have anyone seen the movie Eat, Pray, Love with Julia Roberts about Elizabeth? And that time when she's like in the bathroom and she says out loud, you know, well, I prayed, but usually I don't pray. But the point is, I was on my floor in tears and thinking, I don't even like me anymore. I need help. And I don't know, a day, 2 days, I'm not sure the time period, very short period of time. A friend of mine who I used to work with, Mark Simple,
Oh, okay.
Albert Clark, he is a life coach. And on Facebook, he was offering some one-on-one coaching. And I'm like, okay, I reached out to him, like, yeah, I need your help. And so he coached me 1 day a week for an hour for a month. And that was it helped me to get back onto liking me again. And with that, the universe also brought me in contact with a girlfriend who was spiritual, and she was like a mentor. And we became very close friends, and she helped mentor me as well through this. So with that, with empowerment, that comes to how can we empower ourselves, and we empower ourselves, we empower others. And I read books, I read books now, I make changes, I have like lots of tools in my toolbox, and I'm still human, I still get upset, I still get, sad, unhappy, angry. But now that I have these tools, I'm able to go through what tool is best for me at this moment, and I can take that tool and I can help, shift my thoughts. But I also know that it's very, very important when someone is feeling something that they honor that feeling and they feel that, and then they work through that at that time. And that's when I have this wonderful tribe of girlfriends, and we, like with Sabina, we have each other's back, and we talk about things, and it isn't just complaining. We sit there, we talk about, okay, let's do this, and what other opportunities do you have? What other solutions can you, discover? And about a year after that, or maybe, I don't remember how long, I had a center called the Center for Divine Reflections, and I had it for about a year, where people will come into the center. We met twice a week. One night, I would read a book, and then I would create a workbook, and we would go deeper, and we would dig. And the other one, we just have a group sharing. We just sit around, we just talk about things, we empowered each other, encourage one another. And it just got too much for me for one person, and so I stopped. And then with not working on the work field, my kids are growing up, and I had the center, and I found myself being depressed. The most depressed I've probably ever been. And I remember passing a graveyard, and I'm thinking, it's just dead people. I had no emotion. Nothing. I was dead. And at that time, I knew I had to do something differently. At the time, my children's father kind of walked away from them, so I am all they have.
Right.
And besides the grandparents and aunts and uncles, but I'm the mom. I get to choose something differently. And that's when I really did some deeper work than I've ever done before. And I learned about happiness, and I learned happiness comes and goes. It's not a 100% constant state, and that's okay, because we still live. We still have times of things that make us sad. We still have moments to make us angry. Like I said, you work through that, and then you acknowledge it, and then you decide something different. And that's why it's important to have the tools in your toolbox. And I did a deep, but a year. And after a year, I was much better, but I kept going deeper. And so with that, knowing that's where empowerment is for me, because we all have moments in life, and we all have sadness at times, and we all have, our health issues, loved ones, families, and, learning the tools has helped me so much. And that's why I remember also, because I didn't have a center and maybe I failed at that, I wondered, what is my purpose? And when I was lost, I was starting to go deeper, and I remember talking to my girlfriend, and I'm like, I don't know who I am. And this is after I went through, I'm like, how can this be happening to me? And it's, just a way, it's a spiral. And I understand that, it's a spiral for us to come back, and it's also for me to learn more so I can share more. And she goes, well, you are an extension of God. And so I'm thinking, what's my purpose? I don't want to have the center anymore. And then I just started living my purpose on a daily basis. My purpose is to share a smile, to give kindness, to give hugs, to empower each of the day. So my purpose is not to write a book. My purpose is not to be, I get to do this with Oprah, but before I'm like, oh, I want to be another Oprah. But it wasn't in that grand scale anymore. And because it wasn't in that grand scale anymore, it lightened me up. And I didn't have to think, oh, I have to do this, I have to do this stuff, this stuff. I get to do it every day. And I get to show up how I choose to show up. I get to choose that. And with that, I get to share my purpose. And that's part of being here. And I say I know exactly where I'm at, being here at the BASC, because I get to do that every single day with you folks.
That's
So,
awesome.
so that's what empowerment has been. It has helped me so much, and I just want to share it.
Yeah. So, with all that and what you went through and where you are now, if someone comes to you and you can feel that they are in this state, what, in just a few words, would you say to them? Or
Well,
tell
first of all,
them?
give them a hug.
Yeah.
And I would share that energy and that hug with them and let them know. Let them know that it's okay. It's
Yes.
okay to feel what you're feeling. And and it depends. I can't say that specifically because it depends on their situation, what's going on. A lot of times it's just listening.
Right.
Just holding their hand and listening to them.
Exactly.
And talking to them. And then you ask the questions. Mentoring is also about asking questions, not telling people how to do things.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
it's asking questions and asking the right questions. And then say, well, have you thought about this? Then you can kind of guide them. That's when I had a center and I was doing some mentoring. That was really hard because some people don't want to change. They just want somebody to come to and complain to about. And I don't do that very well. Like, okay, this is my energy. This is,
Yes.
now you're abusing my energy. The boundaries have been crossed.
Right.
And so, so when somebody comes to me, it's just really listening to them, talking to them, acknowledging them that it's okay. And when we go through something that's hurtful, that feeling is valid. It's letting them know somebody is valid.
Yeah, exactly. And, as we get older and some seniors, live alone,
Yes.
and
Yes.
they go through that. And I found that when we were doing our calling, we added to our compassionate calling list, right when we shut down during the pandemic. And I could sense the loneliness and the sadness, within some of our seniors, and you try and build them up, as best you can. But there's, a limit as how far you can go, what, to say to them, because we're not professionals, and
Right.
so we don't really know, but,
But that's about she's talking about the compassionate callers that we have at the center. We have volunteers who call people who are homebound and just check up on them, listen to them, and lend a friend. So that's and there's a lot of things at the center that we do. We empower, and that's one thing. It's just being there for people.
So that's all part of our senior center, things that we do, we're not professionals,
No.
in dealing with anything like that, with any type of mental issues or, just having something going on in your life, but just calling people and talking to them. I think that really helps a lot. It really does.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a wonderful program.
Yeah, it is. It
And
is.
it's very, everybody appreciates it, so.
Yeah, yes, yes. So thank you so much for sharing that with us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Appreciate that, yes. Okay, what do you like to do with your free time?
Well, I told you I like to walk in the woods. I haven't done it this much this year because now I have a boyfriend. I thought being single was kind of boring. I'm so full with things to do. But yeah, I still take time to do my practices, you know, meditating. I like guided meditations. I like meditating to 528 HZ vibrational music. It's a, and
What is that again?
528 HZ vibrational music. If you go to YouTube, you can just type that in.
Uh-huh.
And it's just vibrational music. There's different vibrations in music. And the higher the vibration, the more uplifting it is, the more empowering it is.
Okay.
And versus being a low vibration. There are times that we do need low vibration music, but 528 is kind of just above the middle. And for me, it's very soothing to my ears and it relaxes my body.
Oh,
And so I'm
okay.
able to meditate. I did take a break for probably a year or two of reading my self-empowerment books, spiritual books, and I'm just now getting back into it. So I am reading a wonderful book by Gabby Bernstein. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. The Universe Has My Back. And have you read that? Yeah. And I love this stuff because they're tools I already know, but it's so important for me that I come back and I get to learn them again or be reminded or learn them on a grander level. And just, you know, practicing that and just getting back. I noticed when I wasn't doing my practices that journaling or reading or meditating, I felt myself being disconnected with
Okay.
self. And that keeps me connected with self and with my higher being.
Okay, all right, very
Yeah.
good.
So yeah, and then now the boyfriend has grandchildren, so we have grandchildren time. Yeah, it's so fun. I'm like,
Yes, it is.
I remember I was so bored.
Not anymore, huh?
No, but I have a very happy life, so joyful life, I should say.
Okay, what makes you laugh? You laugh a lot. You do.
Thank you.
You do.
I
That's
to be honest with you, I make myself laugh a lot. There'll be times I'll do something really kind of like off the wall, like why did I even do that? And I just start laughing at me. So I make myself laugh more, well not more, but a lot. And you know, just when you sit there and you're talking with somebody, and somebody would say something, Anita, she keeps us rolling. And we go on our field trips and everything, and that's when you know that you're connecting and you're having fun and you're being joyful. And so, yeah, just having that those like the little stupid things you
Right,
say, or
right.
you know, just fun
Yeah,
things. I should say
yeah,
stupid. That's
yeah.
us were in our family when the kids were little, but just fun little things, you know, just like,
That's
why did I
sweet.
even do that?
Yeah, yeah. I've heard people say that before, you know, I can, you know, laugh at myself, you know, I can make myself happy, you know,
Yeah.
by laughing and
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, laughter is
Yeah,
really good.
yeah,
Good
that's
for the body, good for our insides.
Yes, that's great, that's great. Okay, what bit of wisdom would you like to share with others?
Oh, that's, you know, I've been thinking about this question, and because there's like, get me on a topic and let's just go with it. So, for me, I guess today what I just like to share with you is to be in the moment. And especially if you're going through some things, and it's okay, you don't have to live that experience or that pain every moment, every second of the day. Give yourself that permission to enjoy something. If you are working in the garden, if you're exercising, you know, doing some kind of work, watching TV, knitting, doing crafts or something, whatever that may be, just make sure that you're in that moment and you're doing that. Because, you know, when you're hurting or upset or angry, there's times to do that, but it's very, very important that you still enjoy your life. And the way you do that is to live in the moment. That's what I find works best. When I was going through my healing, That's something that was really important for me, to be in the moment. I had to relearn how to live in each moment,
Okay,
and it does, so.
that's good.
So that's what I like for you, just, it's
Right,
okay
that
to
is
hurt, and it's
good.
okay to feel what you're feeling, but also make sure that you do something for yourself. Taking care of self is important, and being in that moment of joy.
Yes, that's one thing you always hear, when people do have to go for, say, therapy or whatever, they are told you must take care of you. Yeah, so, yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, protecting our
That's good.
energy field is really important.
Yes, yes.
Being like who are you around, what kind of conversations you have. Self-talk is really important, because we are a person who beats herself up most. And so learning that self-talk to be positive.
Self-talk, meaning talk to
Yeah, the way that we talk in our monkey brain, how monkey brain
yeah.
goes around and like, oh, why did I do that? That was stupid. Or why did I do that? Or you're not good enough, or you're not this, you're not that. It's like, oh, so.
Right, exactly, yeah. Instead of saying negative things, project that self-positive energy within yourself. Yes, absolutely, yeah. So, I just did an empowerment statement, huh?
You're rocking it, girl. We're gonna have you lead an empowerment class.
Okay, do you have anything else you would like to share with us?
Anybody have questions for me?
I just have one for you. An excellent choice at hiring her.
I'm sorry.
An excellent choice at hiring her.
Not just me, Adam also our director,
Well,
yes.
see, you just
Yes.
can't take a compliment all by yourself.
You know what, you're right. And maybe that has a lot to do with that, because it's hard for me to do that. We all
say
have
thank
our
you?
little quirks within ourselves and things, but it's hard.
Well, we weren't taught that way.
Yeah.
I mean, see, you give me a topic, I can just go. And it's no fault to anybody. It's not not our parents were brought up away, and their parents were brought away. It just,
Yeah.
and so it's conditioned in us.
Right.
That we're not supposed to be, because when we're self-confident, we're considered conceited, right?
Exactly.
But yeah,
Exactly,
so-
that's it.
And that's where we have to learn, that's what we're talking about, the empowerment of changing how we speak to ourselves, letting go old habits and limitations,
Yes.
on letting go of that skin that no longer serves us, and rebuilding.
Right. But thank you for the compliment.
You're very
anyway.
welcome.
Thank you very much, yes. And we made a very good choice in hiring Diana here at the
It's
Senior
really a
Center to
blessing.
be our
Thank you.
program coordinator. We're really lucky and blessed to have you. We are.
I'm blessed as
Yes,
well, thank
we
you.
are.
Appreciate
So,
that, thank you.
Yes. So, are there any more questions from anyone? Any comments?
Okay.
None?
Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.